There he is, yeah, with his...
That's him?
Yeah, USA jersey.
He is huffing and puffing.
He didn't have time to shave today either.
Well, I think that's part of the motif in this place.
All D3 athletes can't afford razors.
Oh, my God.
I've become best friends with them.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm festive.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dear Hollow Heroes. And as always, I'm BP Ben Petrick, and I'm always here with Meak-Man Liam Meekum.
What's going on, guys?
And Rob looks very different this week. Rob morphed into two people. No, I'm kidding. We have special guests, George Kuzma and Brian Conway, who are part of Gourmet Dining Services that help a bunch of different universities and make actually amazing food. And we're right here at one of the universities they work for, Montclair State, my alma mater, here at Sam's Place. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
I think the funniest part about this is that, you know, you guys do all this gourmet dining services, but how we came about this was through a bar.
Ironic for us.
Yeah, it's our second office.
So we're going to jump right into the top story, and I feel like everyone can't help but always be talking about this. March Madness has begun. We're through the first two rounds already. They're just about getting started with the Sweet 16, and there has been some crazy games. We have Oakland, who got the big upset over Kentucky. We've had that Texas A&M overtime thriller with Houston. Guys, how do you feel about this start of this March Madness bracket, and how are your brackets doing?
I got the Elite Eight. It's still intact, which is a lot to say at this point. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Eight. Now the problem is, like teams like Yale, Oakland actually, was a team that could, turned people over a lot, and Kentucky's susceptible to that. So, kind of almost could see that one as a possibility. But even like in the day of the NIL, are these players giving back some of their money when they don't make the runs that they're supposed to make deep into the tournament?
They should.
It raises a very interesting question with that. It's just like, now that there's money involved and you lost, I mean, start to wonder if it becomes more of a business decision with the players maybe.
And I like that it almost starts to balance teams too, because you see smaller schools able to sign a little bit of bigger names because you can make money elsewhere. You can make money, through yourself instead of through your school. And it's not all about draft stock anymore. You can make money in college now. So I like to see that we're almost expanding the teams.
How are your guys' brackets? I have 3 kids, so my son made all my picks, and he was picking like Cougars versus Jaguars. He wasn't looking at any of the names or anything.
Pick the mascots.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Our brackets aren't bad. The one that we really got to talk about is Rob's, because he had Kentucky winning.
Oh, yeah.
He had Kentucky.
Rob had Kentucky winning.
So, I mean, his is struggling a little bit. I have Tennessee. I'm still in it.
I'm working with UConn, which is, of course, a strong pick.
I got Houston.
Houston's a good pick.
A good one.
Yeah.
You must have been sweating a couple nights ago.
Arizona.
Arizona's a good one. That's a really good champion. I thought about going different because everyone's picking UConn, but at the same time, I'm like, there's a reason everybody's picking UConn.
Right, so good.
I'm like,
and look at what they've done so far.
Yeah.
Just massacring teams.
Did you guys see them play live? Because they have a monster on that team. They have like that
Insane.
7'5", and he's not skinny.
And the guard plays good too. Yeah. So it's not like they're just one-sided. They're a very well-rounded team.
And great coach. I mean, that's a coaching legacy who's well prepared for the games.
True.
There's no challenge. When you have an in-game decision that needs to be made, a lot of coaches panic there. But you have some great coaches. Hurley for UConn, and then like a Shaka Smart at Marquette.
Well, I mean, you want to talk about great coaching, you could also go Kentucky there, and look what happened there. So, I mean, it's not all coaching, but it does play a big part, and especially as you get into deeper runs and better teams, and you start looking at like close games and stuff like that. That's where your coach really comes in.
I find it funny how you were kind of displaying a little bit of the coach take as the reason your NBA team does anything every single postseason is because of Eric Spoelstra.
Very true.
I don't know what you're saying on that one.
True.
It's
but you see bad coaches go out or good coaches go out.
True. That is true. That is true. That is true.
What is I would love to know what is the highest NIL payout versus the lowest still left in the tournament.
Oh my God, that's a great question.
I don't think UConn's that high either.
Can you get the research department to look that up?
Yeah, I'm the research department, and we're mid-show.
Believe me, UConn's up there.
Yeah,
UConn's up there?
Yeah, they're up
really?
there. Yeah.
You wouldn't think.
No, someone had said, Mike Frangillo and I were talking about, they have like a standard $10 million that they're given every year by
Are they
one
really?
company. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember who, though.
Yeah, so I think I challenge you to do this bit of research, is to bracket it out by NIL dollars.
That would be interesting.
And chase the money and see how the money did.
Oh, see which
Money,
one got
money
the
versus heart.
money versus.
I think heart
I
wins.
like that. Yeah, I think they might.
Well, because you have something to play for if you don't have the NIL deal, in my opinion. And I feel like you're now looking more towards professional of the sport because that's how you make your money. So if you're already made your money, you're just like, I can just walk through it now because
True.
I already hit the
Just
bank.
like when you see contract years in any other sport. Well, you look at a contract year versus when they're nice and comfortable and they've signed their deal.
Yeah.
It's a different player sometimes.
A junior year NIL athlete that's making a bunch of money because his sophomore year was great is not going to be compared to a person that has no deal. The senior year, they're going to be the same because they're trying to go professional. But that junior year is going to be very...
I think there's
bit
a misconception,
lackadaisical.
too, about when they get paid. Some people get per game. Some get it at the beginning of the year. And some of the money are held. So if you have per game, you want to go deep in the tournament.
Very
The more
true.
games you have, the more money you get.
You
That
weren't
is a
kidding
good
when you
point.
said it really is a Wild West with this deal. You
Right
said
now,
earlier,
yeah.
just a Wild
Well,
West.
it's so new. They're still making guidelines. They're still trying to figure it out. So it's interesting how it's shaping up.
Well, and it can have a lot of benefits. And we were talking before about in higher ed alone, keeping student athletes in school longer than they used to, and having to be academically eligible in order to get paid, I think is a big thing.
Yeah,
So.
very true.
All right, it is time for Stat of the Week. So Liam came up with a very interesting little one for me yesterday, and it had to do with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the University of North Carolina. Now, Liam gave me the ages of all of the starters on both teams, and we did the averages, and we found out that Oklahoma City, a number 2 seed in the Western Conference, has an average age of 22.6 years old. And UNC, a college team that's still in the tournament, has an average age of 22.2 years of age. So my question is, how do you guys think that colleges should handle time before they go professional with the new NIL deal, with the new all of this, the way they organize when to go to professional, when to stay in college? What do you guys think as people that work in all these universities?
I mean, just being in higher ed for 30 years now, seeing the fact that you can keep students in college longer. Listen, it's not just the NIL; it's the COVID rules, right? Getting the 5th and 6th year, and I think if it's doing the right thing and helping young men and women develop into young adults and get an education, I think it's great. But I think athletically, it's rewriting the record books.
Very true.
But it's going to redefine how teams draft as well.
So my only issue with it, and I agree, it is helping kids and it's not doing a lot of good. My only issue is that when your 4 years is up, you clear the way for a guy who's got his 4 years coming up. And now you can sit on the bench, you can redshirt, you talk about all these COVID rules. There may not be a spot for this younger guy behind you because you can just keep sitting until you feel ready. And it's like, when does the road get cleared for these young guys that also want a chance to prove themselves?
What did the younger Manning get? $8 million. He didn't even play a single game, and he's going to transfer out.
Yeah, and now
The transfer portal.
That's
Oh my
Manning,
God.
right?
It's a different game. It really is.
He's leaving Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with the whole transfer portal, so how do you clear the way for? So that's up to the coach. The coach got to structure his team the way he wants it and the way he sees it evolve, right? So some coaches coach for the transfer portal. Utah State this year didn't have a single point back from last year, rebuilt the entire team from scratch, right? He had 2 players who didn't play last year who was the foundation of his team and rebuilt that way.
Yep.
Other coaches found a way to build from ground up and use all 4 years. So, the story from Wagner is another amazing one, right? So I guess there's both ways to do it. It just depends on the leader
True.
of the team.
Now, again, my issue with that is, as a fan, I want to get attached to a player. I want 4 years of rooting for that player. I want to get his jersey. I want to know that if I root for this player, he's not going to just transfer to a rival or he's not going to help another school win. And I understand you can always get drafted and there's a lot of question marks in college. It doesn't always work out. But I think more than ever now, we're seeing kids just go wherever you want. And it's kind of just, as a fan, there's no one to root for. You root for your school, but there's no real players to root for.
Yeah, they got to lock it down. There's too
do.
much movement going on. And as he said, the same person I rooted for last year is not going to be there next year.
He's going to be on a new team.
It feels like kind of similar to how even professional sports, but they're doing it at like the NBA is doing it at an egregious level. But like there's a big lack of loyalty. There's no loyalty to a team. I remember when we were kids, like you could name like 10 Giants that never left for like 10 years. The only reason they left was because they got too old. Like you guys could probably name entire starting MLB rosters, the lineups that were there for years on end.
True.
And now you look at even look at a baseball roster. You look at the 9-man lineup. There's 6 that are different every year. You got 3 that stay.
And we think it's bad in pro sports. They have to pack up. They have to leave their families. They have to move. They have to sell all their stuff. You college kid, you just pack up and go.
Yeah, imagine
there's nothing tying you to the area.
All you have to
Throw
do
everything in
is,
your duffel bag, and half time you don't even take it because all your clothes are practice gear anyway.
Yeah.
So you leave
It's
that
in your
behind,
car
just
anyway.
buy something
Exactly,
new
yeah.
anyway.
exactly. So it's like there's just no loyalty. I think that's the big
I think
problem.
so. The key word is loyalty, but it's not only in sports though, right? If you look at people's resumes now, there's a new job every year, right?
the time.
So
True.
I worked 2 jobs in my life, one for 18 years and now one for 13. There's not that.
You don't see that anymore.
You're going to see somebody with 20 jobs in 30 years.
It's not going to fit on a resume.
Yeah, exactly it.
Yeah. But then it's hard to judge because when you're an employer, you look for loyalty. And why is this person jumping from job to job?
True.
And does that leave you exposed for them to leave the job in a year on you anyway?
Very true.
Well, this is because I feel like in that regard, even with sports, you could equal it to a lot of what have you done for me lately has been a big thing that a lot of, on both ends, it's just like recency bias is becoming huge.
Impatient fans.
And then next thing you know, people could turn on you, like you get one strikeout on anything, and it could be the strikeout that everybody turns on you.
I think the cool thing, though, is the jersey Liam's wearing. I think that's where it's all going to boil down to now. Olympics, World Cup, and things like that. I'd love to see baseball do more of the World Baseball Classic. More events like that across all sports, though. NFL would be great to see it.
But you got to send your best. I mean, there's so much money floating around, they don't feel the need to actually do it.
There's no
when
incentive.
Mike Trout couldn't convince Aaron Judge to play, right? Why? I guess it was a contract year and all that, but when growing up, when you thought of playing, if you weren't a Yankee, you were an Olympic guy trying to win it for your country.
You want the gold medal.
Yeah.
I would love to see other countries to bring up a football team and play against America.
What? That's it?
I don't think it would go too well for many.
Well, it wouldn't go too well, but that's how countries improve.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it went with the NBA. We used to slaughter those guys, and now they kick our butts every time we play everybody.
Europe's
on our
killing
tail,
us.
exactly.
Yeah. All right, it's time for the burning question. So I feel like if you've opened ESPN or you've opened any sports betting app or any just sports app, you've realized that Shohei has been the face of it recently. And why? Because his translator, and I just want to get the name right because I've been always messing it up, Ippei Mizuhara, his translator, has just got caught gambling $4 million worth of money out of Shohei's contract.
I think there's reports that it's more.
And there's reports that it's 4.5 million. And there's question marks on whether Shohei was involved. Now, the closest we've gotten to when it comes to reports on that is he's doing a press conference to speak on it, but is refusing cameras in the building.
Really?
Refusing cameras to be there. And he began putting his translator under the bus, but now he's starting to defend him. So the question is, how bad is this for the Dodgers and how bad is this for Shohei?
Oh, it's bad.
It's definitely bad.
It's real bad.
I think right now we're getting a lot of speculation. I mean, you log on anywhere and you're just seeing opinions and just a lot of misinformation. And it's mostly speculation. It really is. But let's speculate further.
I say we blow it out of proportion. I think his career's over.
I think it's over.
It's done.
I think we got to talk about the impact to MLB because they put all their marbles in this basket with Shohei before
They
this.
did.
And even the Dodgers themselves at $700 million.
Yes, yeah.
Did you notice that 4 of the greatest baseball players of all time have scandals? There's Babe Ruth, who was just a drunkard who would just be crazy all the time. Then you go to Pete Rose, the greatest hitter, gambler. Then you go to Barry Bonds, steroid user. And now we're at Shohei, who could be also a gambler.
They're all humans. That, you know what I mean? If there's a nice light shined on someone, you're going to find the imperfection. But yes, these are some of these self-made problems.
And I find it funny how it's just every time it seems to be baseball recently. It's always kind of
to be fair, we don't know if he had any part in this.
True.
It could be his translator. It really could. He could be telling the truth. He could have not known. We don't know.
Pete Rose could be telling the truth too.
He could be.
Barry Bonds could have never done it.
Barry Bonds didn't know what he was putting
yeah,
in.
he didn't know. He didn't know.
But I think the big problem is, it sets a bad rap for everything. So how do you take him seriously now? Especially the speculation was out there that he was throwing games, which I know is a big Twitter BS. But
I don't see it.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, at least what I loved about Pete Rose, at least he was betting on himself, to win. He was, betting on me to win.
My thing is, how could you be fixing games and still end up $4.5 million in debt? That's what I'm not getting.
So whatever he did it wrong.
He was, yeah.
He accidentally.
Unless they bet to lose.
Unless they bet to lose, but then.
But so there was parlays. So one of the writers, the sports writers, had the 3 bets, and it was incrementally getting raised, and it was every time Shohei was pitching, but it was parlays too.
Yeah.
So it was like over under 6 runs, and he'd give up 7. He would go 0 for 2, and he'd go 0 for 2 that day. Like there was a major breakdown of the parlays that they had going on.
No, it is concerning. But to me, I just don't understand how you end up this much in debt. Like that was what really broke first was massive debt, and then it was like, oh, they were betting on themselves.
But was there winning first and then losing followed?
It could have been
because you won on some things, and I know I've hit a couple big bets here and there, and sometimes you end up giving back 3 times what you won.
And it could have been losing first and then trying to dig yourself out of the hole.
Or chasing it.
It
could be anything.
And then Shohei got sick of it and paid it off.
Well, yeah, what's $4.5 million to Shohei? Is that like $100 to you and I?
That's right now it's two. Right now, technically, that is about. I believe it is about like 3 months of his salary if he had the full salary, if not less. I think it's even less.
That's crazy.
I think he makes $2 a second if he took the whole contract.
Yeah, something crazy.
But
$200,000 a game.
But he deferred all of it, so that's 2 years' salary.
$650 is deferred.
You're right.
Technically, that's 2 years' salary.
He's only making $50 million right now. Poor guy. I don't know.
Yeah, what a rough life he lives.
How's he gonna do it?
He's such a fighter. If we have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the crazy thing is this is his best friend, and for you to say that you don't know what your best friend's doing, I don't know. I mean,
that gets real fishy,
especially coming out of your bank account. I mean,
exactly.
I know you got a lot of money, but $4.5 million missing out of your bank account.
I don't see how he could have not known.
Well, he has business managers too, so they must have known that money was coming out too. The money just doesn't disappear. Sure. Can't take it out of an ATM. You've got to have someone write you that money.
Unless everyone's in on it but him. But I don't see that happening.
There was big time with the interpreter's background too. Like he never went to UC Riverside. That they said he never was a translator for the Yankees. If you go to his Dodgers bio, all of it was a lie.
Huh.
Wow.
So it sounds like he met Shohei on the Tigers in Japan, and after 3 years, he just quit baseball and just hung out with him and was with him the whole time. Huh. So he never did the things in his bio that they said he did.
How do we not catch that? How is that not already?
Because he's and the nicest way possible. Everyone's just focused on what Shohei's doing, and when you're winning, you don't look into stuff like that. When the Angels weren't winning, but Shohei was winning. Basically, if he played every season that he's played fully, he would have been a 5-time MVP.
True.
And he's so polite and so likable that, I mean, you're not looking for anything bad on him.
Very true.
And everybody's got a hanger-oner. Remember, A-Rod had his guy. Tom Brady has his guy. Every superstar has a guy that's in the dugout or the clubhouse with them. So you never look at that guy. You always look at the star.
You go look at the guy that you're paying to see. But the good news for the Dodgers is they have 2 MVP candidates they can hide him behind. Like, you can put all the focus on the baseball matters, on Betts and Freeman, and if Shohei has all of this problems, the Dodgers can keep winning. They can keep kind of distractions to a minimum because they have these 2 superstars. But I think what's going to be a problem for the Dodgers as a whole, though, is it could be the distraction the whole year.
True.
Like, if this gets serious and it becomes a big controversy, it could derail what could be a super team in the making. True.
And now, who wins more games now, the Braves or the Dodgers?
The Braves are just as loaded, and they don't have distractions. I mean,
right.
and they also have a core. Like, that team's played together every year. They're all under contract, I think, for 2 more years together. I don't know how the Braves were able to do that. They found this, like, an all-star lineup for 4 years. And they didn't even win with the all-star lineup. They all got hurt the year they won.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is, it's a team that wants to stay together and be together and win together. And
just like we were talking about,
get that taste
splash of loyalty.
There's a little loyalty there.
It's nice.
We're so unprepared for it nowadays. We see it and we're like, whoa.
Well, look at Damian Lillard in the NBA. Like, everyone loved him, and like that used to be the standard.
He was the loyalty guy, and it's gone.
You know, take it a next step. Would you ever in a million years think Verdugo would end up a Yankee? It's like Red Sox never came to the Yankees, and now it doesn't matter what shirt they're wearing, right? They're all going on vacation together anyway when the season's over.
Save one of the Eagles.
We all.
Oh my God! Stop!
Killed me.
Don't bring that up.
I know.
I mean, of all places,
to the Giants, right? They caused that problem.
That was. I think it was more the Giants.
They ran him 40 times a game. They were trying to kill him last year. Yeah,
and then didn't pay him.
Ridiculous.
The Giants in his. I don't know if it was in his contract, but the Saquon's team allowed the Giants to counter any offer that was presented to him.
We didn't.
And he presented the Eagles' offer, and they just immediately were like, no, we don't want to do it. And part of me, everyone's all mad at Saquon, but part of me is like, it's kind of the Giants' fault. They didn't even try.
Oh, I'm not mad at Saquon. I'm mad at the Giants. If you want to get rid of Saquon, the thing to do is trade him for something, not give him away for nothing.
Sign him.
I'm okay with him not being a Giant and him making his choice to where he went. But if you don't want to sign him, you need to trade him. You don't just give him away for nothing.
We got no capital out of it.
It's this blind belief that you can win it's this like a cat and mouse game that the player and the team keep playing against each other. And this is one of the times where it didn't work. Like, we saw it work with Aaron Judge. Like, they said, we're going to give you a year, and then we're going to see how much you're worth. And it worked out for the Yankees because they had the money to give him. But at the same time, we've seen it not work, of course, with Saquon. It's been a thing that's been happening a lot, and I think the Vikings are going to try it with Justin Jefferson this year, which I think is absurd.
And it's much tougher to do in football, too, because it's a harder cap.
Yeah.
In baseball, if you have to go over the salary, there's no salary cap. So.
Yeah. And the Vikings are refusing to trade the player that could be worth multiple picks, a future.
Yeah.
And it's just this is the new thing that teams are doing.
But you need a good running back because now you can't tackle. Did you see the new rule that came out yesterday?
God.
You can't drop down to tackle.
Imagine being a defender against the Ravens.
Like, what do you do?
Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and you can't tackle?
Now, I did see that they are only banning the swivel.
Yeah, the swivel.
You can still drop your hip. You just can't wrap it around and trap their legs. Now, that's fine with me. If you want to ban that, that's fine. What I'm not looking forward to is the absolute mess of calls that we're going to see next year. They're not going to know what a tackle is. Just like pass interference, just like hitting the quarterback, we're not going to know what's a tackle, and games are going to be decided because of it.
And here's the problem. Now if you don't learn how to tackle right, you're going to get hurt too, right? So you're so used and taught to tackle one way, and now you're changing it. I don't care. These are pro athletes. But the guy running at you is also a pro athlete and moving at you like a Mack truck.
This is very high stakes. 1 second of hesitation can hurt you.
I'm so happy you brought that up because I find it very interesting. Do you remember when they made all these new rules on roughing the passer and all of this? What I find very funny is they're trying so hard to protect the quarterbacks because they're the moneymakers. But what I find incredible is last season was the most quarterback injury-ridden season ever, and they went into the season saying this is the safest year for a quarterback. More of them got hurt.
Not to mention all the defenders that are now getting hurt because they can't hit the quarterback.
So
they have to pull up.
They're pulling up.
And leg injuries, low body injuries. You got a big body like that, and you got to try to stop it on a dime?
There's no way.
Physically impossible.
Instead of instilling toughness, we're just making the game softer and softer. So when you do get hit, you're gonna hurt yourself.
We're gonna be playing flag football in 3 years.
J.J. Watt tweeted out after the rule change. He said, "Might as well give them the belts with the flags on it. Let's go, guys."
There it is. It's
true.
It's the way the Pro Bowl's played now. Maybe it's the right way to
just changed the kickoff rule today too.
Oh, that's the comedy. Yeah.
Do you know how the XFL kickoff?
Yeah, you got the halo.
They're doing that now.
Yeah. So you can't move until the guy catches the ball.
It is time for game time. All right, so this is a game that was invented by Liam, but I'm hosting it because in your face, dude.
Stole my game.
I stole your game. So I'm going to be listing top 20 MLB players in an order that is going to be randomized. But of these 8 players, you guys have to rank them in the correct order that they are. If you get it spot on, you get 2 points. And if you get within 1, it's 1 point. Okay?
What do I get if I win?
I'll buy lunch for everybody here. How about
There you
that?
go.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go get the list off my phone so you guys can't see it through this. Alrighty, so the first player I'm going to bring up is Aaron Judge.
2.
So we're ranking them. I wonder what the rank goes with. I'll say
Say it out loud or no?
That was yeah.
sure.
I'll say 3.
I'm gonna take 2 as well.
1 point, 2 points, 1 point. We're just going to move.
All right, tell us at the end.
Oh, tell you at the end?
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll take my points now.
All right. My bad.
I know I got 1.
My bad. All right, so remember what you guys said. All right. Next player, Garrett Cole.
Oh man, I didn't realize we were doing pitchers.
Is this 1 through 8?
Garrett Cole.
No, 1 through
1 through 8.
1 through 20 or 1 through 8?
1 through
through
8,
eight.
because there's 8 players on the list. You gotta. So do you think he's above Aaron Judge at 2 or 3?
No, he's like
I-
7.
Player above Aaron Judge.
No, there's 2 because he was a 3, and I got that right.
Yeah, there you go. It did.
Proudly say.
My bad.
I'll say, without knowing who the others are, so he's definitely below Aaron Judge.
For sure, has to be.
I'm going to say, I don't know who else on your list, but I'm going to say he's got to be in the bottom third of the 8.
I
I'll
agree.
say 6. I'll give
I
you
took
a
6 too.
I said 7.
You're at 6 or 7? Remember where you put them,
Yep.
okay? All right, the next player, Ronald Acuna.
1.
1.
And the next player, Shohei Ohtani.
2.
3. We have to take him at 3. 8?
Depends
Okay.
on how these rankings are.
It depends on when the rankings came
Yeah,
out
yeah.
too.
The next player I have, Mookie Betts.
4.
4.
Yeah, I'm
4?
good with
You know what? I'll take him at 5.
All right, up next, Spencer Strider.
So he's got to be better than Cole, I would think. So I'd say,
6.
where did I put Cole? 6?
You put Cole at 6.
So I'll put him at 5.
I'll take Strider at 8.
And I have the next player is going to be Freddie Freeman.
8.
3.
That's tough. I'll take him at 7 because I can't put him above Betts.
Okay. And the final player is Adley Rushman.
Ah,
The catcher from Baltimore?
Yep.
In the top 8?
So I got
top 20. It's a random order.
yeah,
Oh, oh.
but I'd say
Oh, I got you.
I'd say he's on the cusp of top.
He's a top 3 favorite and MVP candidate this season.
True.
I gotta put him. So I have to move Ohtani up 1 to.
Can't be doing that. This is game time, bro,
You
not
can't.
change time.
I mean, so what do I have open? 5. I have 5 open.
5 is
Yeah.
where I sit too.
So Rushman, I have 5.
I got him at 4.
So, guys, you all know your list now? You guys can
Yep.
go 1 through 8? All right, cool. So just remember, if it's 1 off, it's 1 point.
Yep.
If it's direct, it's 2.
Okay.
Are you guys ready for the final reveal?
Hit me with it.
All right. The number 1 player, and he's ranked 1, is Ronald Acuna.
All right.
2 points.
The number 2 player, ranked number 2, is Mookie Betts.
Wow.
The number 3 ranked player, who is ranked number 3, is Aaron Judge.
Okay.
Number 4 ranked player, who's ranked 4th, is Shohei Ohtani. And this is the last one that's in order. I just wanted to do the top 5. 5th, who is ranked 5th, is Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
I'll take Freddie Freeman over Ohtani any day.
Really?
Yes.
And yeah.
He's getting older though.
I would still take Freddie Freeman.
You don't get the pitching though.
Winners, you don't get it from Ohtani anymore either.
Yeah, fair
Winners
enough.
know how to win, and I'll take a winner over a stats guy any day.
True.
That's a good point. We're going to see when he's in L.A. We're going to see.
Well, Freeman's there too.
Yeah, Mike Trout was there in L.A. too,
True.
so now I have to start to...
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes you really wonder now. That was a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
point.
Yeah, but winners win. Like,
Ranked 6th, but he's ranked 9th in all 20, is Garrett Cole.
Let's go. That's 2.
yeah, that's good.
Number 7, who's ranked 17th, is Spencer Strider.
Okay.
And in last, who's 8th and is ranked 19th, is Adley Rushman.
I knew Adley was going to be last.
Yeah, I don't know. So, again, I think Strider's better than Cole.
I actually see that for this coming season. I agree with you.
I agree, but I think if we're ranking them, it's probably based off of last season. And last season, Cole was a Cy Young candidate.
Right. So,
you're right.
So, but I think if you're saying who would you want on your team this year coming
Strider.
I'm taking Strider.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I out of that, I mean,
especially because Cole's out for a little bit now.
yeah, and you have, I mean, it was all obviously talented players, but I mean, Freddie Freeman is the most proven and successful out of that. Ronald Acuna belongs number one. Betts, Judge, I would take either one. You know,
Yeah.
you don't go wrong. But
Betts is more reliable.
Ohtani at this point is, I think, below those guys.
And we don't know how he's going to come back from that injury, too.
How quick are we to throw people away, too? Like,
Remember when
2
I
years
said-
ago you couldn't buy a Shatani. Now you're like, show he's
Do you remember when I said recency bias? It's recency bias.
Only as
It's
good as
so
your last,
quick.
whatever, meal.
But even if you look at, I mean, great player again, but you just gave us 8 great players.
True.
I mean, it's not like a slouch. I mean, but Aaron Judge or Ohtani, you can only have one.
Judge.
Right. I think almost everybody takes Judge. I think.
How old is Ohtani? Because Judge just turned 33.
I think Otani's like
He's
just
younger.
turning 30, like 28, 29.
Yeah.
He's soon turn 30.
Yeah.
In that area.
It improves his stock.
Does.
Well, Judge is also kind of an older superstar. We forget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
he's
didn't make it to the league
late.
until 27.
But
28.
Judge has a frame, and it's hard to say because he gets hurt a lot. But if he played like 20 years ago, he has a frame to last a long time. But because you could stub your toe and be out 2 weeks nowadays. Yeah. It's hard to say now.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago, he had a body that could build him to 43.
You know, everybody talks about Shohei being a pitcher, and Mookie Betts has moved from the outfield to the infield. Like, what's next for him? Is he going to catch next
I
year?
think he's
Like,
the starting shortstop this year.
and because he said he was bored in the outfield. That's why. And they gave him a shot.
And literally one of the most clutch hitters in baseball.
He's
Unbelievable.
He's another one
Very good.
like Freddie Freeman. I
And a
mean,
good
you-
defender, which is so
Gold glove,
underrated.
right fielder.
Gold glove anywhere.
That's the thing.
He's I think it's deservedly so at second. I mean, if Ronald Acuna didn't have the season he had, Mookie Betts should be first. But Ronald Acuna's last season was just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
You can't argue with putting any of those top 4 in any order. Again, I think I think Ohtani now going into this season, even before the whole gambling thing,
Yeah.
is a little overvalued as high as they have him, simply because the injuries he's coming off. I mean,
True.
he's never come off a mega injury like that.
Yeah.
That affects everything. It
I
doesn't
agree.
Just affect your defense. It affects your
I
swing
mean,
and
last
everything.
week when we were drafting MVPs, I shied away from Ohtani.
We didn't even Ohtani wasn't brought up.
Yeah, Ohtani wasn't brought up.
So I think that's the when I was doing that list, like, who do you want this coming year? Who do you want this coming?
True.
I mean, Strider's, I mean,
Strider's a
Strider
beast.
could be a Cy Young candidate easy.
So how many points did you get?
I had 7.
You had 7?
I like 2 or 3.
So Liam wins.
Winner.
True, he did invent the game.
We should name it after Liam. Liam's
should.
game.
Liam's
should.
game. And that's it. That's all we call it. Just
We
Liam's
could call this
game.
Liam's podcast.
Not a big fan of that one. All right. So we have a new segment. It is called Guest Time. So this is. I'm so creative with these, by the way. I spent.
Did you come up that all by yourself?
I'm in the lab, dude. I am
mean,
mixing
hours.
potions. Mixing
You
potions.
use ChatGPT on that, right? To figure that one out?
Because he lives 10 feet away from me. I knock on the door. I'm like, dude, guest time. And he's like,
That's good.
bingo.
I got fired up.
That's good. I got to tell you, I do appreciate the titling, the game segment. I mean, it's catchy.
Game
It's
time,
catchy.
the top story. I'm just original in
Giving the
everything.
fans what they want.
And then I feel like the name is the most original segment of the name of the podcast. But for one thing I had to say is, of course, you guys work in many universities, but I overheard you say, Mr. Conway, that you actually have a relative that plays down there at Yogi Berra Stadium.
I do. So we are on the campus of Montclair State University, and just recently the university put a boatload of money down into Yogi Berra Field. The New Jersey Jackals used to play down there, They've gone on now, but they've refurbished that field with a brand new artificial turf with the help of New Jersey Institute of Technology. So NJIT and Montclair State use Yogi Berra Stadium as their home field. We do the concessions down there for the games, but my nephew is the starting left fielder for NJIT.
Oh, wow.
He was Rookie of the Year last year in the conference, and when I saw him play the other day, he was 2 for 4 up here. So very proud of that, very proud of the field. And we're sitting here today at Montclair State in Sam's Place, the largest dining hall here on the campus of Montclair State. We'll do about 25,000 meals out of here this week. And this is just one of 30 different eateries here on this campus.
Now I have a question. Does NJIT come here to eat after they catch the dub?
So they do, but we do the food service at NJIT, also Gourmet Dining Services.
Oh, so they go to your other... Yeah,
so
okay.
they go
Oh,
to
that's
one
true.
venue, they can come to another. But yes, they're guests up here for us also.
So you asked a great question, George. You said, what happens if they play each other? Now, you said they don't play each other, but this is a very interesting question to bring up. If they did face off, who's the home team?
Well, I guess it would be Montclair, but they were smart enough to build 2 home clubhouses down there.
Did they really?
Yeah, so they actually took the visitors clubhouse and turned it into a secondary home clubhouse and stuck the visitors on the promenade. So in the game, the visitors have to walk up through the fans back to their dugout.
That's home field advantage.
Oh, that's so
That's
cool.
advantage.
I love it. I love it.
And we serve beer there, so imagine that walk.
Oh, and imagine being the guy that hit a home run off of like the home's team and you're just walking back to your dugout, just getting beer
like
poured
that.
all over you.
No.
We're not.
Hoping the weather changes soon, too, because it is cold out there. It's not baseball
Yeah.
season yet, but
It's getting nicer.
yeah.
We're seeing splashes of it. Yeah.
It feels like some days you feel like it's baseball weather, some days you feel like it's football weather recently. That's
Well,
the big
opening day is, really, they played the Soul. I think they were playing in Mexico or something, but opening day is Thursday for Major
real
Leagues.
opening day.
Yeah, and then next Friday I'll be going to see Dr. Steinbrenner in the Bronx. I've got a doctor's appointment at 161st and River
Good for
Avenue
you.
next week.
Good for you.
You're feeling a little sick. You gotta
I
go.
always do. It's
Yeah.
malaise fatigué. It just means I'm overly tired.
So I had a question for you guys with the food industry, of course, because that's where you guys work. So what is your mission that you guys try to achieve here for students around all these universities?
So I think it's serving good, fresh food, trying to make everything accessible, but serving a diverse style of food too. So we have allergen friendly, we have grill station, we have your basic comfort classics, deli, salad bar. Again, it's tough. You go eat in the same place 250 times in a year. It gets a little tiring no matter what you're serving. So we try to mix it up, and that's why we allow students to go to any of the other eateries, whether it's Yella's or Panda Express or wherever on their meal plan, to be able to kind of mix it up a little bit so they're not always eating the same thing every day.
When you're operating these things, a lot of the times it's response, right? If a student wants something, we're not a big corporation. We're a family-run business, right? You can get and make those changes immediately on the fly. So that's what we pride ourselves on, response to the students. It's their program. They drive it. Whatever they want to see, we want to do.
Awesome. And again, I have heard nothing but good reviews since I've left and since I've been here. But I always find it funny. I hear since I've left Montclair State and graduated, that people are saying the food is unbelievable. It got so much, it's getting better and better and better. I'm like, of course, when I leave, you guys decide
Always.
to step it up and go and hit the home runs and you guys are doing so awesome.
Well, we're new. We only started in September.
But what makes me jealous is you guys decide to come now. Where were you?
Blame the administration for that.
Yeah, I gotta go talk to Capel about that. All right, I gotta go be like, what's wrong with you, man? Couldn't have waited while I was here. But guys,
You're always welcome back to eat anytime you want.
awesome, guys. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here, and you guys are welcome on the podcast at any time. And I'm glad that you convinced me to talk about Justin Fields with you at the bar. He was saying Justin Fields is a giant question mark, and I was sitting there I don't know.
Don't even get me started.
I was like, should I turn around?
I know we could.
It's a better alternative than what we got now.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Yeah, first 6-rounder. That's what he's worth, guys. Just a reminder. I said he was. But guys, again, it's a pleasure to
Thank
have
you
you
for
guys
having
on
us.
here.
Thank you guys.
And of course, we can't wait to see you guys again. That's the best thing I can say there.
Thank you.
Awesome. We're gonna go back
to
to
one from Yogi Berra Stadium soon.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
We're gonna go back and fetch Rob to do locks and upsets.
It is time for locks and upsets. So currently off of last week,
I am in first place at 11-1 on locks, 6-6 on upsets, a 2-0 week last week to make my record 17-7. And Rob is in third place with 7-4 on locks, 3-7 on upsets, and having a 1-for-1 last week to put his total at 10-11. Liam is in the middle at second place, being 8-3 in locks, 6-5 in upsets to make his last week 2-0 and bring his total to 14-8. Now, unfortunately, due to Easter plans, we are separated at this moment, so I'm going to be recording this locks and upset video by my lonesome, and I'm going to be starting with locks. So, for Liam's lock, he is going to be going with the Sydney Swans over the West Coast Eagles in the Australian Football League, and Rob has a lock of the Yankees winning their opening day game. And my lock is I have the Orioles defeating the Angels on opening day as well. And for the upsets, Liam is going with Illinois to defeat Iowa State in college basketball in the next round. And for Rob has the Royals over the Twins on opening day. And for my upset, I have the Giants defeating the Padres on opening day. So lots of baseball, and a lot of them are going to be when this airs on Thursday. So I'm really happy to see that I'm still in the lead, but my lead is not even close to safe. So we're going to find out next week. I would like to thank you all for listening. You can follow us on our socials at Dear Hollow Heroes, or you can message us through dearhollowheroes@gmail.com. Please let us know your takes and anything you want to let us know, questions, comments, concerns. And I would always like to thank Liam Meak-Man, and I always want to thank our guests, George Kuzma and Brian Conway. We hope to see you guys all next week, and of course, have a wonderful rest of your day. See you next time, guys.